a sense of jealousy, जिसको हिंदी में कड़वापन कहते हैं, a sense of bitterness which pervades around the personality of Rahul Gandhi and follows him wherever he goes in his political and personal life. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other side tonight, how we are taking on the Americans, but more than that, how we become global leaders as a result of what's happened over the last 3 days in China.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला. I choose a world where we dream and the limit is the sky, and this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a decor brand. Live consciously.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ. डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा. अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ. सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र.
For a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ. डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा. अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ. सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है. अरे मेरी राजा.
I choose a world where we dream and the limit is the sky, and this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a decor brand. Live consciously.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार. MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला. MDH.
Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Here we didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%, I think. Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic. We have been in frequent contact with our allies.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Goswami on the debate.
Now time for the nation's sharpest opinion. And the last 48 hours have been extremely critical, extremely crucial for India's recalibration of its response to the American strong-arm tactics. There is now a renewed decisiveness in India's assertion of its economic strength against the US's tariff bullying. Just look at the sequence of events. On Sunday, there was the Modi-Xi bilateral, and the indication from that meeting was that while India is still cautious about its ties with China, the Chinese are extremely eager to normalize ties with India on the trade and economic front, which is good. They want a tango, is what Xi Jinping repeatedly says. But what has irked Washington the most is not this picture of Modi, Xi and Putin sharing a candid conversation alone. Look at the frame. This visual tells a lot. Because in one visual, there are three of the world's four superpowers standing together despite differences. That is perhaps what diplomacy and statesmanship look like from a nationalist lens. But here is my take. Here is my take. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the alarm bells rang in Washington when this picture was released of Prime Minister Modi seated in President Vladimir Putin's limousine en route to their bilateral summit venue. As you know, Republic broke the news first that even before the 45-minute bilateral meeting that took place between India and Russia, President Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a nearly 50-minute long conversation in that car. Despite reaching the venue, they remained seated inside for a 50-minute long conversation. Takeoffs cancelled, timings pushed back, for 50 minutes of uninterrupted one-to-one conversation with the whole world thinking what was going on there. We do not yet know what was actually spoken in that chat. Moscow has called the conversation not for the ears of others, and that must have really bothered Trump. What happens later shows you the big picture. First, the MEA released a crisp 4-point statement on the official bilateral. There was no jargon on people-to-people ties and historic relationship. The message and the audience were absolutely determined. Here is what point number 2 says. The leaders discussed bilateral cooperation, including in the economic, financial, and energy sectors, and expressed satisfaction with the sustained growth in bilateral ties in these areas. That, in my opinion, is as clear as it gets. That India is not going to cow down to US dictation on imports, no matter how many Navarros are deployed by Trump. In fact, America has eroded its own credibility by deputing lackeys like Peter Navarro to do their bidding. A man who attempted to actually, ladies and gentlemen, overturn the 2020 elections and was indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts of contempt of Congress, becoming the first former White House official imprisoned. He has no credibility whatsoever, neither as a counselor nor as an economist, to comment on India's sovereign right to choose trade partners. I don't even deem it fit to reply to his misguided and vastly uninformed understanding of the Indian caste system. My only request to him is that he should shut up before he exposes his lack of intellect. As far as the rest of the Trump administration is concerned, they should start taking their cue from their commander-in-chief, who himself seems to have toned down his hollow aggression. On your screen now is what Trump had to say in his latest statement on tariffs to India. Notice anything? No capitalization, no quote-unquote mediation claims or threats of secondary sanctions anymore. No dead economy jibes anymore. Trump, in what many are calling the most sober response since he took office, desperately now tries to reason with India. How India buys more from China and Russia as compared from the US, and why he wanted to share, quote, just some simple facts for people to ponder. The tone of Trump is of worry. The tone of Trump is he doesn't know how to handle Narendra Modi or India anymore. The unanswerable Trump is now having to justify his duplicitous, hypocritical stand on India in less than 2 weeks of tariff imposition, which is the fact that India has brought Donald Trump to his knees. And you know why? Here is why I had told you, viewers, that in the silence of Prime Minister Modi, there is a storm that will drown out the cacophony of the Trump administration, I had said. There is a rejuvenated rigor in India's resolve as an economy has shown absolute defiance to any tariff tirade. This is because the world unequivocally distrusts the 1.4 billion strong nation that has stood up against the bullying of selfish economies. Just look at the contrast now in the statements, ladies and gentlemen. The same US and their Treasury Secretary 2 weeks ago were inciting Europe, provoking Europe to also impose secondary sanctions on India. Now they are saying that India's values are more closer to America than to Russia and China. Look at the change of tone. This after the crazy Navarro called India Kremlin's laundromat and talked about quote-unquote cozying up to Xi, not because of this photograph, because in 2 weeks they have realized the following. One, that Europe was the biggest beneficiary of India's refined petroleum products. And worse for the US, in July, India became the largest supplier of diesel to Ukraine, accounting for 15.5% of Ukraine's diesel imports. And India is set to, in fact, increase its oil imports from Russia by 10 to 20% in September as per reports, despite all the browbeating. The US State Department knows, therefore, that it has terribly failed. It has misplaced its hand with India, misplayed its hand with India, and lost out. Which is why yesterday, ahead of the Prime Minister's bilateral with President Putin, the US Embassy in India was busy putting up quotes of Marco Rubio hailing the enduring friendship between India and the US that is the bedrock of our cooperation, they are now saying. Where are you, Marco Rubio? And why don't you advise your president instead of coordinating Twitter posts? Because questions are being asked not on your political party but on your nation. Just look at what your predecessor, Jake Sullivan, who served as the National Security Advisor under the Biden administration, is saying. He says Trump threw aside India ties for family's business with Pakistan. So people are now openly talking about Trump's crypto deal with Pakistan. And they are saying this is a move that has caused huge strategic harm. This is no longer, ladies and gentlemen, a tariff or a trade war. Let me say it for what it is. This has become, for America, a war of individual prestige versus national interest. This is a war between the individual ego of Donald Trump versus national solidarity. This is a war where there is a man who's willing to sacrifice everything for a Nobel Prize versus a man who's willing to sacrifice everything and even pay a personal price for his nation. Even though Trump knows that Modi is no Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, he doesn't get rage baited. Modi is certainly no Trudeau or Mark Carney who can be pushed around. Modi is not a leader who you can sit down and school in the Oval Office. He is a leader who has risen from the ground in the most vibrant democracy on the planet and has the full support of his nation behind his back. So Donald Trump, let me tell you once again, what Prime Minister Modi hasn't said in as many words. We aren't coming for you, but we are certainly not going anywhere either. We are here to stay on terms mutually beneficial to our nations. That's the only deal that was ever on the table. Only deal. What we are seeing today is the crippling effect of Donald Trump's attack on India within his own government, within his own party. People are confused. The Republican Party is divided. The Democrats are attacking the Republicans. Donald Trump has lost whatever goodwill he had with India and he doesn't know how to roll it back. The problem was started by Donald Trump, but this is a battle that India will finish. Let's debate.
After Trump administration went on an India bro-beating spree,
25% because they cheat us on trade, 25% because of the Russian oil. It's a refining profiteering scheme. It's a laundromat for the Kremlin.
After the visuals from Tianjin, Washington is sobering up to reality. In an apparent sign of climb down, the US president broke his silence with a list of what he called facts to ponder upon. After its blunderous attack against India, the Trump administration now hopes for a course correction. The big question now emerges, is the US too late?
I think you have heard me say it very often that we never negotiate trade deals with deadlines. We only negotiate for a good deal fair, equitable, mutually beneficial.
India is now giving back in kind a resolute reply to US's desperate provocations.
The US, we are in dialogue with them for a bilateral trade agreement. With all of this and India's growing relevance as a provider of 18% of global growth, as the world's third largest economy in the next 2 years, as a country which even today on purchasing power parity sports an economy of $15 trillion.
Friends, we are living in unprecedented times. Global policy turmoil has created huge uncertainty. In these turbulent times, India stands as a lighthouse of stability and growth. In these uncertain times, friends, you should come to India because our policy is stable.
Prime Minister Modi too took the mantle to drive the point of India's economic prowess further home today.
एक तरफ जब दुनिया भर की इकोनॉमी में चिंताएं हैं, आर्थिक स्वार्थ से पैदा हुई चुनौतियां हैं, उस माहौल में भारत ने 7.8% की ग्रोथ हासिल करके दिखाई है.
Prime Minister Modi's message to Washington is as clear as it can get.
The world trusts India. The world believes in India. And the world is ready to build the semiconductor future with India.
The winds of change are blowing. After the SCO summit, the Global South is gearing up for a virtual BRICS summit next week on September 8th. The world is watching and speaking in one voice with India. Time for Trump to back off.
Okay, so viewers, I'll keep a very fixed focus here right now on what America will do, because I believe there is a pre-SCO and a post-SCO situation. I'd like to welcome Tatiana Kukareva once again. I have Sushant Sareen of the ORF. I have with me Anand Ahuja, co-founder Indian Americans for Trump, and we'll keep adding on the guests as we go. Phone lines will also be open at some point. There's a pre-SCO and post-SCO world. If we look at the visuals from the meeting of the SCO, and particularly, Tatiana, the visual of the three leaders. There is, President Vladimir Putin, President Xi, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And this visual has gone viral globally of the three leaders in a very close conversation, laughing, talking, and having a nice chat. And this picture has gone viral everywhere of the three leaders together. Can I stay on that visual, please, Pradeep? Thank you so much. With the still of that, etc. So what's happening in your view with Trump after all of this? And why is this visual the talking point globally? Tatiana.
Well, Arnab, we discussed this even before the summit began, that, with all of the developments coming up just before it, it was shaping up to be quite a historic event, with India and China overcoming decades long of so many issues that and just shaping up to be a very different partnership. The same but different, because I've said it on your program many times, this is the beauty of the relationships of BRICS nations, of the SCO nations, is that these nations are different. Each and every one of them, we have our national interests and we accept each other with our national interests. There is no, dominant dictate of, look, this is what everybody's going to do, and everybody respects everybody. So these images, of course, they're troubling for Western media, especially. Because this is probably the most kind of scary thought, that the global South is actually uniting. India and China finding common grounds. India, China, and Russia as a united bloc of allies. Look, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of people. Not to mention the economies and the numbers behind this. The GDP growth of the SCO as a union, as an organization, united growth. But obviously, the successes that India has seen in the past years, Prime Minister Modi has done an amazing job in terms of the Indian economy, in terms of positioning India. And you're not to forget the pictures from the limousine. I believe these have gone viral, to say the least, as well. I've just yesterday we discussed that apparently everybody's forgotten that Vladimir Putin and Narendra Modi have already taken rides in Aurus. Mr. Putin has enjoyed those limousine rides. That's kind of a thing, but everybody was so excited about him getting into the Cadillac in Alaska that apparently our American debaters thought that, oh, look, now Vladimir Putin's embracing limousine diplomacy as well. Well, these pictures, the meeting that went on for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, in that limousine, breaking all sorts of protocol, just showing the world, especially the Western world, especially Donald Trump, that, this is a relationship that is going to thrive. And it's a relationship of equals, of partners.
Tatiana, Anand, you must be feeling so lonely there in New York, because America is in a lonely place. And there is a little bit of irrelevance that is growing about America. Irrelevance? Irrelevance is a very bad thing, Anand. When you keep shouting and screaming for attention, but nobody looks at you. Like when Trump keeps calling, but Narendra Modi does not take the call. When Trump tells Modi to please visit him and he does not. And the whole world is saying this. I mean, there's a newspaper, I think in Germany, which says that, why did Narendra Modi not take Trump's calls? Because it is the depth of his anger, but also his caution. Also his caution. There's a whole realignment. And the other fantastic thing that is happening is that the world has realized that there are 4 superpowers in the world, not 1 or 2. And 3 superpowers are together in that photograph. And there's a 4th superpower, which is having a lot of trouble with a person who nobody in his own country likes, is despised in America, who's taking America down. Modi has challenged Trump like no other leader has. Directly, openly. Stone walled him, pinched him where it hurts, like no other leader has done. Anand, Trump is in a terrible place. Terrible place, And Americans are now abusing Trump. Jake Sullivan, Mike Pence, Gert Campbell, the journalist Vic Sanchez. Everybody is saying, what have you done, Trump? You've ruined it. You've ruined it.
Okay. Arnab, first of all, before I make any statement, let me just clarify one thing to you. If you, as a journalist, if you check my background, I have been an office bearer of ABVP during my student days in Chandigarh at the same time when Arun Jaitley was president of Delhi University. So you can check my background. My family in India as well as in the USA is a blind follower of Modi, and I call them andhbhakt. But if I make a statement, if I say anything that is out of concern for India, not for hatred for Modi or anybody in India. So please don't misquote me and don't misunderstand my statements. Now, coming back to your question, you have raised a question whether Trump is isolated or not. The proof of the pudding is in eating. Trump has made NATO members to agree to pay 5% of their GDP for the defense budget than it used to be earlier. Earlier, NATO members were not even paying their agreed upon 3% of their GDP in the defense budget. The very fact that Trump has successfully negotiated trade deals with a number of countries reflects that Trump is still a very effective leader in the world. Coming back to your question that Trump is being opposed in United States, that reflects that United States still has a very strong democracy. In United States, I can stand up and speak against my own leader, Trump. I can criticize Trump. But tell me, any BJP leader in India can stand up and criticize Amit Shah or Modi? No, you cannot speak against your own party leader in a country like India, which claims to be a democratic country. Here, we have comedians making
I'm
fun
not
of
getting
our
your point.
leaders.
You're frustrated, Anand. You've lost out. Anand, you lost out. Do you realize how serious the problem is for America right now?
Yes,
because
I'm coming.
just a
So
few
you are
days back, Trump
you are
said the
saying
Indian economy
okay.
is dead. You said our Indian economy is dead. We grew at 7.8% in the quarter to the end of June. What are you talking about? No, Anand, see, it's not about you and me.
Talking economy. I am talking.
I just want you to. I am no fan of China, but you see, there is a global repositioning which has happened. You have to be blind not to see it. Sushant can give you a view on that, and Victor Gao can come in. It is not about India versus America. There is a global repositioning which has happened, which is precisely the opposite of what Trump intended it to be. He wanted the world to be at America's beck and call. On the other hand, the world has gravitated away from America in a way that probably has not happened in over a century. You need to realize the consequences of your isolationism. Sushant can tell you about it. Sushant, and don't keep selling me the fact that you were in the ABVP or you were in Indian student politics in a while. You're an American citizen with an American approach and an American agenda and an American passport. So don't try to flaunt your Indian origins at me, Anand.
No,
Sushant.
No. फिर भी दिल है हिंदुस्तानी. फिर भी दिल है
Arnab,
हिंदुस्तानी.
here is
My
the
heart
thing,
is.
let me just deal with this whole issue of democracy in different countries. Different countries have different cultures, and the democratic cultures are different. Now, maybe, yes, you can stand up in the United States and abuse Trump. I don't know for how long, and how long before Mr. Ahuja is sent back to India because of the color of his skin, because we have seen a lot of that also happen in the United States. A lot of people who have expressed dissent with US policies. And I'm not saying whether that dissent was right or wrong. I'm not getting into that debate. I just, when they flaunt this freedom and this democracy, they don't look at themselves in the mirror very often. So if Mr. Ahuja is trying to score some points, brownie points, he's welcome to it. I'm not buying it right now. We are seeing what is happening in Europe. In the UK, you make any statement and you can be put in prison simply because you've tweeted something. So let's keep that on the side. Now, let's come back to the substantive issues. Look, there's definitely a repositioning taking place. You can call it a rebalancing, a repositioning. And frankly, that has been provoked by the Americans themselves. It's not been done by anybody. Initially, they did it with the Russians when they continued to provoke events in Ukraine, forcing the Russians to ultimately step in. And again, I'm not again saying that the Russian action was justified or not justified, but there was a clear provocation and a violation of agreements that had been signed with Russia. Okay, now you're pushing us in a certain direction. And the bottom line is that what I would call it is botched diplomacy. If they thought this is negotiation, They have no idea that maybe this could be negotiation on the streets of New York. But this is not how you behave with different countries with proud histories, with culture, and generally who feel offended if you're not going to deal with them well and not with respect. So they've botched it up. And they've not only botched up, okay, I can say that the Chinese are their principal adversaries. They have a rivalry with the Chinese. With us, they are targeting because they think they can bully us. With the Russians, they have their own problem. But they have done it to the Europeans. It's very well for Mr. Ahuja to say that, the Europeans have kowtowed to them. But look at the way you have insulted European leaders who haven't had the spine to stand up to you, which is okay. But you've insulted them. It doesn't, raise the stock of Europe in the rest of the world. Look at the way you've treated the Japanese. And there's some pushback coming from there. Look at the way you've treated the Koreans. Look at the way you've treated every other ally of yours. It that old Kissinger saying that it's dangerous to be America's enemy, but positively fatal to be America's friend is being proven by Donald Trump and all the madcaps like Peter Navarro and others whom he has gathered around himself. So clearly there is a problem out there. But having said that, while I agree that there is a kind of rebalancing taking place, Arnab, it is important to understand it is also happening because America has now started emerging as the principal contradiction. Let's look at the Chinese, for example. For the Chinese, whether the Americans reach out to them, they don't reach out to them, everybody knows there's a looming confrontation coming and this contestation for who will actually call the shots. The Americans want the Chinese to be under their thumb. I don't think the Chinese are going to agree to it. So they see that as the principal contradiction. And if that is the principal contradiction, then whatever their problems with us have been, and I think the border problem is the fundamental problem. Other than that, I think there's a lot of things that we can share with each other. We will still have problems because neighbors will have some problems, but none of them are deal breakers between India and China, except for the border issue. So we need to sort that out. That's my belief. But that is not the principal contradiction for the Chinese. Similarly, for India, what is the principal contradiction? That, listen, if you think that we are going to be colonized once again, sorry, that's a no-go area. So our principal contradiction is again to try and balance out, the problems which are emerging with the United States. And we don't want to give up our relationship with Russia simply because somebody tells us not to do it. Tomorrow, for example, if I was to tell the Americans, why are you dealing with the Pakistanis? I would be justified just as they are telling me not to deal with the Russians. Why should I not deal with the Russians? Right. So I will deal with the Russians and I will deal with any country where I think my national interests are served. So I think there is a convergence of interests. But having said that, I think you are exaggerating the situation when you say that the Americans or Trump is going to be isolated, that the Western bloc is finished. The fact of the matter remains that the global economic structure for now remains dominated by the West, whether we like it or not. They have the reserve currency, and that is not going to go anywhere until the Chinese step up.
Yeah, Sushant, I won't balance it out there. I'm not balancing anything out there. No, they have. That's all right. But the fact is, as long as Trump is around, and I'm sure, Sushant, at some point of time when things change, when Trump is no longer in charge, which I think is going to be very soon. No, we are. See, Trump, Sushant, may I preface things by saying one thing? I am not saying America is going to be in such a bad situation forever. But what I'm saying, and I hope you give me just a moment on this, I think America is going to be in a very bad situation as long as Trump is around. As long as Trump is around, things are going to be very bad. And it's not economic, it's not even strategic, it is personal. What is happening, Sushant, what is happening is, and Purnima, you've been a Republican Party candidate, you're joining us from Wisconsin. Yes, okay, Sushant, please finish your point.
Just let me finish my point.
But
Just
I'm not going to balance it out by saying, oh, things are bad, but America is still important. I don't believe in that.
I'm not trying to balance it out or anything. I'm just saying that, look, the challenge is going to be that if you want to change the global economic structure, then you need markets. Okay, India, China, big countries, but do these countries replace the Western markets, which are the primary markets right now in the world? And I think that is going to be a challenge. How do we step up to the plate? And finally, when you say it's temporary, it's 3.5 years of Trump, and then everything will change. You know, the speed at which things are moving, 3.5 years is an eternity. Who knows what will happen 3.5 years from now? So I think this is a point of inflection. Can the countries rise up to the occasion? I don't know. I think this is an opportunity, but whether they can rise up to the occasion or not and grab, this opportunity, we'll have to wait and see how much foresight and vision and statesmanship is on display on all sides.
Yeah, sure. So, Sushant, let me now come in, please. You see, Purnipa, Trump has messed it up for America very, very badly. Sushant is talking about 3.5 years. But 3.5 years versus whom? You're taking on 40% of the world's population who don't give a damn about you, who hate you. You see, the reality is, today you ask anybody in Russia, China, and India, they hate Trump. Yeah, I'm not even going to be balanced. They hate Trump. You want to check? Should I open a call right now? Do you hate Trump? If I open the lines, you know how many people will ask, yes, we hate Trump. Because the man doesn't know how to show any respect. He talks down to everyone. I'm telling you about Japan. Japan hates Trump. Purnima, Japan is an ancient civilization too. They hate Trump. Why do you think Narendra Modi's visit to Japan, our clean energy partnership, our credit mechanisms, our artificial intelligence initiative, the LUPEX lunar mission, when Modi was talking in Japan, why do you think Japanese loved it? And why do you think just as Modi was landing, the Japanese told the Americans, we're not going to go for a trade deal? Because there's a thinking going on in Japan. How do we deal with a person who insults us? Who just loves
Thank you so much, Arnab,
abusing
for
people?
having me. I appreciate it.
He's got a psychological
Yes,
problem, Purnima.
thank
The
you.
man has, first we used to think he has got an attention deficit disorder, but he's got a psychological problem. He's got a huge ego and he likes abusing other countries, not even other leaders, other countries, other people. And it's not funny, sorry, it's not funny. It is an assumption of an exaggerated sense of self-importance. He walks around with his nose in the air like an anti-aircraft gun. He needs to understand, put his feet on the ground and understand the reality of how the world looks at him and who he is dealing with, Purnima. Do you want to know how many people in the world today hate Trump? It's not a sense of indifference. People hate him. There are hostilities between countries. People dislike countries, their positions. But he puts his attack dog, Peter Navarro, wagging the rattle tail out there on tariffs, trying to threaten people. But nobody gives a damn. You know something, Purnima? We are one, you know who is one of the largest importers of Indian oil? It's Ukraine. I tell you, Purnima, try and tell Ukraine to stop taking Indian oil. Even they won't listen to you today. This is my view. You can respond as you wish.
Thank you so much, Arnab. I appreciate it. First of all, listen, I didn't know anything about politics 9 years ago. I came to politics because of President Trump. At that time, candidate Trump. I felt his policies were right for our country. When I actually ran for election, my top three priorities was national security, immigration, and border security. And obviously other things in terms of economic development and etc. This also falls. The reason I became even a Republican because of the fact that Republican Party was the party and Lincoln's party was the party freed the slaves, and the first congressperson was from Republican Party. If you didn't know about it, and it was actually a black.
21st century. Can you come back to the 21st century?
This is why I became Republican at the beginning, and I supported, and not just supported, not just voted 3 times for President Trump, but campaigned for him, and also started Hindus and Trump to bring in traditional Democrat voters to the Republican fold. Now, I have to tell you, I agree with you. I agree with you. This is something that I have not seen. This Trump 2.0 didn't just, it started right away at the onset of his oath taking, when he started blabbering about Greenland, he started blabbering about Panama, making Canada a 51st state, or renaming Gulf of Mexico as Gulf of America. I've jokingly in one of the TV station in India said maybe Indian territory has to be defined, and you guys have to look at your borders as well and your neighbors as well, but not from a perspective of threatening or showing that you are the superior. But at the same time, I agree with you. He is insulting everybody, not just countries, Arnab. The party's officials, if anybody like me, I'm speaking about this hypocrisies left and right every day, and not just in Twitter, not just in Facebook, but in media, in TV channels. And so unfortunately, people like me are being targeted, and they're saying I'm Modi stooge, I'm Indian stooge, I'm Russian stooge, I'm Chinese stooge, I'm stooge of everybody, but I'm not independent of my own views. And think about Thomas Massey, who is actually a Republican, sir, Kentucky Republican representative. He is being targeted by Donald Trump's attack dogs, and they want to take him out too, because he differs in his ideas and his alignment with Donald Trump at this point of time.
Well, I would only commend you, Purnifa, for speaking out and having the courage that Anand doesn't.
No, I didn't get your. I thought you're still talking to her. You want me to respond? You want me to respond? So, for that point of view, Arnab, I have always been against anybody screaming or yelling. It doesn't matter who that person is, including you. I don't feel comfortable if anybody screams or yells. We can discuss everything in a very polite and cordial manner, whether it's a Trump or you or anybody else. Now, coming back to the real issue, I personally believe we are going to have short-term goals and long-term goals. In long term, we cannot have a cordial relationship with China because of 4 reasons. Number one, it's not only the border issue. The question is China going to dump Pakistan in favor of India? Number two, who is going to be a superpower in Southeast Asia? Is India prepared to acknowledge China's hegemony in global South? That's the number 2 issue, because at this particular moment, India is an emerging power in Southeast Asia, and China does not want India to be its competitor. Number 4 issue is China going to export its goods to India or going to import goods from India? Right now, we have a trade. India has a trade with China of $18 billion. With the United States, it has a trade of $89 billion. China is going to flood India's market with its own goods. Is India prepared to accept that and destroy its domestic market? So with China, we cannot have a long-term relationship.
Anand, don't lecture me. Don't lecture anyone. You belong to a country. You have a passport of a country.
We are having a conversation. Nobody's lecturing. Nobody's lecturing.
Smuggles Russian diamonds. You smuggle Russian diamonds worth hundreds of millions of dollars through a hub in Armenia. You're a smuggler of Russian diamonds, your country. How are smuggled Russian diamonds reaching American markets? You have G7 and EU sanctions against Russia's largest producers. Your whole country is a smuggler of Russian diamonds.
But
and your whole country has a private crypto deal with Pakistan because...
I can trust Russia to the extent I can trust Pakistan also, but I cannot trust China. I can never trust China. I don't know if you are not learned lesson Hindi chini bhai bhai, and you have forgotten everything.
You guys have to you guys have to decide. You've just lost out. William Boucher is joining us right now from New York. He's former chief economist at Citi. William, How have you seen things move, and what you must have watched the visuals from the SCO meeting in China, the bonhomie between Xi, Modi, and Putin. Whole world's talking about it. What do you think, William?
Well, it is a gathering of three people that India shares some interest with, but also has some considerable underlying conflict with, specifically China. And I don't think that's going to go away. So the substance of the relationship is unlikely to change as a major way, in a major way simply because the US administration, from the president down, has imposed serious sanctions and tariffs on India, and B, addresses India with a complete lack of respect in a way that has no place in international conversations. So, but this will undoubtedly trouble the relationship between India and the US for some time to come. But even Trump isn't forever. And I think things will change back to something less normal. I believe there is a deal that can be struck on much of the tariffs. I mean, only half of the 50% tariffs, 25%, is because of India's imports of Russian oil and buying Russian arms. The other half is India's tariffs and non-tariff barriers on US products. The average tariff measure you get, which is 6.2%, doesn't sound very
William,
high.
that ship has sailed.
But that only looks at
that ship has sailed a long time back.
If you set an import tariff at 200%, there'll be no imports if a zero average tariff, but you still have a 200% tariff. So I think India could make serious concessions there.
I can't believe it. You know? It's astounding.
William, I'll let Victor come in here because Victor's not spoken so far.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. I listened very carefully and I become more and more amused by the different views. Allow me to mention that this SCO summit is a complete success. Whether the United States like it or not, that's a separate issue. I think the world has reached a turning point that while SCO and its members are talking about multipolarity, multilateralism, treating each other as equal, emphasizing on consensus building, for example, President Trump really holds a gun and wields a gun at the head of so many other countries, including he tried to hold a gun at China, but China held a gun at him. And he backed off. He blinked again and again and again. Now he's holding a gun at the head of India. Try to bluff India, for example. Try to call the Indian economy as a dead economy. I've said again and again and again, Indian economy is not dead. So show some respect to countries like India, show some respect to countries like China, and don't really alienate all the people. Anna, I completely agree with you. I think the way the United States is handling itself in front of all the major countries in the world is not generating respect for the United States. It's generating fear. And generating fear is a very bad strategy for your long-term sustainability. Fear cannot be generated against the countries like China or India. You said correctly, I remember very clearly, we have thousands of years of history. We don't give a damn to such a country which wants to put fear into our mind. Therefore, look at SCO. It's thriving, it's kicking around, it is really moving forward, it's gaining more popularity. So if anyone thinks that the world is not at a turning point, let me know that. I want to debate with him or her. The world is at a turning point. The old way of rule of the jungle is dead. Someone still wants to revive the rule of the jungle. Someone pretends to be an emperor in the world of today. There is no emperor in the world. We are all equals. We need to nurture each other, help each other, rather than acknowledge anyone, any single one, as an emperor in the world of today.
Well said, sir. Well said. Well said. You know, it's the way I look at India. It's not a choice of China or the US. What's happened, interestingly, Anand and Sushant, you know, this balance. Why I said no, let's not balance out, because even American allies now hate Trump. There is so much hatred for Trump, not personal level, but for his politics, the way he talks, the way he deals. What the Japanese said, Sushant, the Japanese said, this has become a battle for national interest. We will not be disrespected. We must talk fairly and squarely even to our ally. That's a big statement coming from the Japanese Prime Minister. Macron says we want multilateralism during India's presidency of the BRICS. Australia says we will work more closely with India after we pushed back on Trump. So what's happening is American allies are rallying behind India, not America. American allies. Look how lonely Trump has made America. There's nobody with America today. Not a single friend. Name a country that is your friend, Anand. One country in the world that is truly your friend today. Your partner in everything. One nation.
Arnab, look at the way they have treated Canada. Now, we might have our problems with it, right? But just look at the way the Canadians were supposed to be their best friends. They were besties, right? They was, the kind, and we were used to be told that India and Pakistan should have relations like US and Canada. Now, US and Canada have relations like India and Pakistan, yeah, for God's sake. This is Trump, what Trump has done. Look at the way you talk to a country. I'll make you my 51st state. And not even in jest. You don't say it once, you repeat it 20 times. How do you think it is going to be received? Denmark is supposed to be one of your closest allies, part of the European Union. You say, okay, fine, Greenland, I'm going to take it. If you don't sell it to me, I'll take it by force. This is the kind of stuff which Kabza groups do in Delhi. This is not the president of the most powerful country in the world supposed to be talking like this. And all the cronies around him, frankly, I think the North Korean dictator would be ashamed of the kind of support he gets, considering how the Trump cabinet, fawns over him. All that they now need to start doing is the way the North Koreans clap like this. And that's it. It's crazy what's happening. So it's quite clear. And I'm not saying that everybody is gravitating towards India. I'm not going to say that, right? But I think India got its back up. A lot of other countries are getting their back up. And if the Americans don't back down, then what you were earlier saying of isolation will happen. It's a no-brainer. You just simply cannot keep insulting people around the world. There are ancient civilizations, ancient countries, people, who've had terrible experiences with Western colonialism. How do you think we are going to take this? How do you think, what do you think goes in my mind when I look at the Americans trying to do what they're trying to do under Trump? Do you think I'm going to take it? How do you think the Chinese would be taking it? How do you think many of the other countries would take it? It's mind-boggling the kind of foolishness we are seeing in Washington, D.C. And just one thing I wanted to say, our American colleague on the program was talking about Indian tariffs. I myself have a lot of problems with some of the tariffs which were levying. They were mindlessly stupid. And I personally thought that our trade negotiations with the Americans would bring greater realism in our trade policies. But the fact of the matter remains that the trade deal that India negotiated with the United States was one of the most liberal trade deals we have signed with anybody else. And, to push everything on this issue of non-tariff barriers, look, some non-tariff barriers are indefensible. But even the Americans have some non-tariff barriers. Every country has certain things on which they have red lines, and they don't want that to come. Now, if I have a problem with GM crops, and I say I don't want it to come, I have a problem on the kind of stuff they feed, the kind of dairy which comes from the United States. They need to start respecting my cultural sensitivities. They need to respect my economic issues. They need to respect my political problems. So, and the Americans used to do that, which is why they became such a powerful country in the world. They had a global footprint. And what have they started doing now? They just, it's mind-boggling what they have done, but I suppose.
But can he change? Because can he change? Can he change? What do you think, Tatiana? Because Putin is not pulling back.
77, who changes?
Right?
I think, Arnab, that the one thing that I will
Narendra
never
Modi is
agree
staring
with
back very
Sean
hard.
on is that America used to respect other nations. America is about respecting one nation and one interest in the whole world, American. The reason they became a superpower was because everything was tied to the dollar and still is. And that has been changing. And I believe that what we've seen in this summit and the pictures that you're showing right now is a tremendous opportunity for the SCO states, for also not limited to, but last on that list is de-dollarization. Last but very much not least, this is a tremendous opportunities for our great nations. And again, if you compare yourself to the US, there's so many civilizations that are ancient because there's hundreds of years of difference in terms of when the US became an actual country and other parts of the world. But the potential here is just outstanding. And I actually am very excited to see how our great nations are going to take that potential and what they're going to do with it. And I'm thankful to Donald Trump.
Huge potential. I think things are actually going to play out. You're right. You're right here, Tatiana, because you're bang on there, because if you look at just.
He's very honest with what he
says. And I think the game has just begun, William. I think India, China, Russia, and maybe Brazil will come together and take the next step soon. I don't know if it's de-dollarization, but these are big countries with 40% of the global manufacturing output of the world, right? About 40% of the world's population. India would have a purchasing power parity of 15 trillion. The combined purchasing power parity, if I take India, China, Russia, would be anywhere between 33 to 40 trillion US dollars. If they come together and they say de-dollarization, we want to deleverage from America, that's the end for America. That's collapse. That's a change of the world order in a way America won't be able to respond to, William, don't you think? It's coming close to that.
This is all too dramatic. There are underlying changes in the global economic system and in global sort of political arrangements. And there is no doubt that we are witnessing the rise of the global south. By that I mean really India and China. Russia happens to be actually most of it in Europe. So it's not the global south, it's Eurasia. But this is changing. China and India both growing significantly faster than the US and the rest of the West. And this will mean that the balance of power and possibly also the use of dollar currency will be shifting some other way from America. But this SCO summit is not anything more than a photo opportunity. Right? It's the reality of changing economic relations, differential growth rates, right? And all that. And of course, the very unfortunate protectionist strategies randomized of President Trump that caused this to happen. But there hasn't been, I think, any significant speed up in that process. The dollar is still the world's leading
William,
currency.
is that the one
US
person?
No, India might be able to follow the UK, which negotiated a 10% tariff. And the EU a 15% tariff. There's no reason why, provided sensible decisions are taken to withdraw support for Russia's war against Ukraine, by India shouldn't get down to the 15% levels of the EU and Japan.
Well, okay. I think I'll leave it at that. It's a very interesting repositioning, but I refuse to believe this is just a photo opportunity. This is recalibration of the world against Trump's strong-arm tactics. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this evening. We have a flow in international affairs, which in my view will soon lead to an economic recalibration. How soon is the question? See you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
इशारा समझ ले बहके कदम ले चले किस गली जानबूझ के है खोने की पड़ी इशारा समझ ले इशारा समझ ले हवा में फिजा में नजारों में इशारे संग हो जा तू मेरे इशारा समझ ले इशारा समझ ले इशारा समझ ले
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
In the heart of the jungle roams the finest creature, and through the chaos of the sparkling city lights, I am reminded of the timeless valor of the majestic tiger. In life's wild journey, we have one shot to thrill. And when done flawlessly, we unwind and allow our spirits to rejuvenate. Royal Ranthambore, India's finest, yet.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
I choose a world where we dream and the limit is the sky, and this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
पैसा पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, Prime Minister Narendra Modi strikes back at the Congress RJD for the abuse directed at his late mother during a political rally in Bihar. And at 9 p.m. tonight, we're taking a step back to decode India's latest response to attempted American hegemony and how the West, led by the United States, faces a new multipolar reality. Ladies and gentlemen, today Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken not just as a Prime Minister, but as a son whose late mother's name was dragged into the dirtiest depths of political vendetta and abuse. 6 days ago, on a stage in Darbhanga, Bihar, under the flags of the Congress, under the banners of the RJD, under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi's so-called Vote Adhikar Yatra, the Prime Minister and his late mother were abused by the workers of the Congress and the workers of the RJD. The abuse was not just against Narendra Modi, not just against the Prime Minister of India, but against a mother, a late mother, a private citizen, a woman who never entered politics but whose dignity was shredded on a political stage by the Congress and RJD workers screaming madly into loudspeakers out of sheer hatred. And today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi finally broke his silence. He said, "Those slangs have not just insulted my mother, but every mother and sister in India. Princes born in royal families will never understand the suffering of an underprivileged mother and her son." Viewers, just pause here. Think about this. This is not just about one political stage in poll-bound Bihar. This is about what our politics has become. This is a well-oiled, well-scripted, systematic, repeated campaign to demean, to insult, to humiliate the Prime Minister, elected by 100 crore Indians for the third consecutive term. Rahul Gandhi talks about his Mohabbat ki dukaan, but their words, they drip with hate. The Congress talks about saving democracy, but they insult the democratic mandate every waking hour of the day. The Prime Minister's office, after all, represents 1.4 billion Indians. And when Congress leaders, RJD leaders, India bloc leaders, Indie bloc leaders cross this line, when they drag families, late mothers and private lives into the arena, they are not insulting the Prime Minister, they are insulting the country itself. And so tonight I ask a very simple question: how low can they go? Time and again, the opposition's below-the-belt remarks have electorally backfired, and they still seem to have learnt nothing. When Manishankar Iyer mocked him at the AICC meeting, I think this was 2014, sneering, "If Modi wants to sell tea here, we can arrange for it." Modi turned that insult into the iconic Chai Pe Charcha movement, and the BJP stormed to power with 282 seats. In 2019, Rahul Gandhi's Chaukidar Chor Hai campaign collapsed after the Supreme Court's rebuke and the BJP's counter wave, Main Bhi Chaukidar, Prime Minister Modi came back even stronger with 303 seats. And in 2024, when Lalu Prasad mocked the Prime Minister for not having a family, the Prime Minister turned his pain into power with an emotional reply saying, 140 crore Indians are my family. This triggered a nationwide Modi Ka Parivar movement and led the NDA to another massive victory with 292 seats. Viewers, the truth is this: they cannot accept it. They cannot accept that for the first time since independence, India is being run not by a surname, but by merit. They cannot accept that India has chosen democracy over dynasty. This is about an ecosystem that refuses to accept India's choice. A Prime Minister with no Gandhi attached to his name. A leader without a dynasty. And that is their real problem. For decades, they believed power was their birthright. For decades, they believed Delhi's throne was reserved for one family only. But 140 crore Indians have shattered that illusion again and again and again. This, therefore, becomes a fight between two ideas of India. One that believes that power is inherited and one that believes power is earned. And so tonight, as the Prime Minister stood before the nation hurt, but resolute and unbroken, he reminded us of one simple truth. You can drag his name, you can drag his family, you can drag his past, but you cannot drag down the will of 1.4 billion Indians. So let's debate.
आरजेडी कांग्रेस के मंच से मेरी मां को गालियां दी गई। ये गालियां सिर्फ मेरी मां का अपमान नहीं है, ये देश की मां, बहन, बेटी का अपमान है।
This was Prime Minister Modi's response to RJD and Congress for the obnoxious slurs hurled at his late mother from the stage of Rahul Gandhi's Vote Adhikar Yatra in Bihar 6 days ago. This wasn't just Modi, the politician, the Prime Minister speaking. This was Modi, the son of an underprivileged but gritty mother.
पता है आप सबको भी, बिहार की हर मां को, बिहार की हर बेटी को, बिहार के हर भाई को ये देख सुनकर कितना बुरा लगा है, मैं जानता हूं। इसकी जितनी पीड़ा मेरे दिल में है, उतनी ही तकलीफ मेरे बिहार के लोगों को भी है।
But this is not an isolated flashpoint. This is a pattern.
आज गुजरात की सरकार चलाने वाले झूठे, बेईमानी, डर और मौत के सौदागर हैं।
मुझको लगता है कि ये आदमी बहुत नीच किस्म का आदमी है, इसमें कोई सभ्यता नहीं है।
परिवारवाद है, परिवार के लिए लोग लड़ रहे हैं। तुम्हारे पास परिवार नहीं है।
ये जो चौकीदार है ना, चौकीदार 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 कौन है?
कितने हैं भाई? क्या आपके रावण के जैसा 100 मुख है? क्या है?
From Delhi to Patna, from DMK to RJD to even the Congress party, the opposition has been defying its own record of political abuse. BJP leaders have taken down on the opposition for their below-the-belt political discourse.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी की स्वर्गीय माता जी के लिए अपशब्द बोलकर सबसे घृणित काम कांग्रेस के नेताओं ने किया है। मैं आज इस मंच से राहुल जी ने जिस प्रकार से घृणा की स्तर बगर की राजनीति की शुरुआत की है,
राहुल गांधी ने तो स्वयं जिस प्रकार की भाषा प्रधानमंत्री के लिए इस्तेमाल की है, जो उनसे उम्र में भी, पद में भी, कद में भी बड़े हैं, ये दिखाता है कि ये राहुल गांधी की नीति है। ये जो मानसिकता है ये राहुल गांधी की है कि जो भी प्रधानमंत्री जी को सबसे ज्यादा गाली देगा उसको कांग्रेस में पदोन्नति मिलेगी। इसलिए 150 से ज्यादा गालियां प्रधानमंत्री जी को दी गई।
जिस प्रकार की भाषा का प्रयोग किया गया है, मुझे लगता है शर्मसार आज उस पार्टी को होना चाहिए जो पार्टी कभी अपने आप को भारत में स्वतंत्रता संग्राम से जोड़ती थी।
But this isn't just about abuses anymore. At times, the attacks have crossed every red line, from slurs to direct threats to the Prime Minister's life. This is the same Congress that goes into a full-blown outrage every time Gandhi Vadra family is questioned.
ओबीसी की बात, जनगणना की बात बहुत की जाती है। माननीय सभापति जी, जिसकी जात का पता नहीं वो गणना की बात करता है। जिसकी जात का पता नहीं वो गणना की बात करता है।
But history shows every time the Congress crosses a line, every time personal attacks are weaponized against the Prime Minister, it backfires spectacularly. Ironically, Chai Pe Charcha became the biggest political revolution and BJP stormed to power with 282 seats in 2014 Lok Sabha elections. 5 years later, Congress scored another self-goal when Rahul Gandhi struck his Chaukidar Chor Hai jibe, which was turned into a mass movement by the BJP.
ये जो चौकीदार है ना, चौकीदार कौन है?
इस चौकीदार के लिए आपका स्नेह उनको समझ ही नहीं रहा है कि इस चौकीदार को इतना प्यार क्यों कर रहा है।
In 2024, the Indie bloc hurled yet another personal attack.
ज्यादा संतान होने वाले लोगों को बोलता कि परिवारवाद है, परिवार के लिए लोग लड़ रहे हैं। तुम्हारे पास परिवार नहीं है।
BJP flipped the script.
140 करोड़ देशवासी, ये मेरा परिवार। जब मेरी कोई जान नहीं, पहचान नहीं थी, कंधे पर झोला लेकर के भटकता हुआ एक नौजवान और उस समय देश के गरीब से गरीब परिवार ने जहां गया वहां मेरी चिंता की।
That sentiment resonated across India. By the end of counting day, BJP sealed the victory. Ahead of Bihar Assembly elections, the opposition doesn't seem to have learnt its lesson. This is no longer about one stage or one rally. This is about how far the opposition is ready to descend. This is about how low India's political discourse has fallen. This is about politics where a Prime Minister's late mother is dragged into the dirtiest battles of vendetta.
And of course, the Prime Minister has been abused. The Prime Minister has been attacked. The Prime Minister has been targeted extremely personally on many occasions. But the context this evening is different because it is the Prime Minister's mother who is being abused, not just the Prime Minister. And the Congress party has decided to attack the Prime Minister's late mother. And ladies and gentlemen, Ratnakar Tripathi of the Congress party, Advocate Tausif Khan of the TMC, Harish Mohammad Ibrahim of the DMK, Shubhrashta is pro the Prime Minister very firmly on this, and Shazia Ilmi is the BJP spokesperson along with Jyotsna Tirunagiri, TDP national spokesperson. Now, Ratnakar Tripathi, I want you to face off with Shazia Ilmi at the very start. Don't add an if and a but in your reply. Don't add, Ratnakar Tripathi, an if and a but in your reply. There is a 33-second video. There is a 33-second video in which the Congress party is abusing the Prime Minister's mother in the most despicable language.
You are free to curse and abuse Congress. I will answer and I will make a statement in my way.
There is a 33-second video in which the Prime Minister's mother has been abused by the Congress party workers from a political stage. Why has the Congress party abused the Prime Minister's mother?
Well, I go uninterrupted.
I'm not interrupting, I'm asking you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because a slight delay. Why has Rahul Gandhi told the Congress workers to abuse the Prime Minister's mother?
You are hallucinating. Nobody said it. He was not a Congress worker. Tejasvi Yadav and Rahul Gandhi was not on the stage. And the person is arrested. Nobody support abuse to anyone. But the mothers are equal. So, first of all, I think...
One minute. Has Rahul Gandhi condemned the abuse of the Prime Minister's mother by Congress RJD workers publicly? Has Rahul Gandhi said, I am ashamed of the people who have abused the Prime Minister's mother?
Dr. Goswami, I told you in the very beginning, if you want to make any point, let me complete first. Otherwise, you can go with your solo version. What do you want? Whether you want to speak me or not?
I simply want an answer as to why there has been a decision taken
I don't fear anyone.
to abuse the mother of the Prime Minister, the late mother of the Prime Minister of India.
Shall I speak now without any interruption and haggling?
But you need to come to the point. You see, why has Rahul Gandhi not suspended the guilty workers? Expressed regret to the people of the country.
I am here to make my point. You are
Condemned
not
the remarks abusing the Prime Minister's mother from a public platform.
I am not here to answer objective questions. I am answering the question which you have just addressed to me. And let me just answer that. Don't interrupt. I told you, we don't support abuse. But nobody was on the stage. neither Tejasvi nor Rahul Gandhi. Nobody on the stage. And the person is arrested. And why don't you ask Narendra Modi ji to apologize his own mother when he says कि मैं convince हो गया हूं कि मैं biologically नहीं पैदा हुआ. अपनी मां के नहीं रहने पे वो बता रहे हैं, वो नारीत्व और मातृत्व का अपमान कर रहे हैं. वो बता रहे हैं उनकी मां ने उनको जन्म नहीं दिया.
First of all, Ratnakar Tripathi, you are misquoting the Prime Minister. You are trying to attack the Prime Minister's mother again. You are repeating what those people have done on stage. There is therefore no difference between those people who spoke that language on stage and you.
मैं biologically नहीं पैदा हुआ हूं. मैंने नहीं कहा था.
No, your attempt to go personal with the Prime Minister and his mother will drag you down further. Shazia Elmi, it is quite clear, viewers, if you are watching tonight, that I have with me on air a Congress person who is proud and who is in denial that the Prime Minister's mother has been abused from a public platform.
Arnab Goswami ji.
Therefore, we'll have a public poll on this. We'll have a call on this. You could have expressed regret. You could have said, I'm sorry. Shazia, your turn on the face-off.
Good evening.
Shazia,
Good evening,
they are saying that there is no official involvement of Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi in the abuse of the Prime Minister's mother, and therefore they can't be dragged into this. Shazia.
Answer me. Why did you say that I'm proud of that?
I think a limit has been crossed. And Prime Minister has been subjected to... Ratnakar ji, is my turn, please, if you would allow me to speak.
No, Shazia ji.
So first of all, Ratnakar ji, you also know and everybody knows. Just when... Let me say, Ratnakar ji, you made a few points, let me answer. And you can... Let me allow me a rebuttal.
I can't hear Ratnakar. Volume has to be increased.
Ratnakar ji, you are justifying. Ratnakar ji, you are justifying. No. You are being too clever by half, Ratnakar ji.
I didn't say that I'm proud, and he said Ratnakar Tripathi said I'm proud.
Okay, Ratnakar ji now. Okay, Ratnakar ji, allow me now. It's okay. Let's not heckle each other. Allow me to speak. And
I'm not heckling, Shazia. I respect you.
So first of all, Ratnakar...
I'm asking Arnab Goswami.
I respect you too, sir. I respect you too, sir, but allow me to speak, sir. I will just take 2 minutes. I really believe, as does the entire nation, that a limit has been crossed. Just when you think that Congress or the opposition can't sink any lower, by subjecting Prime Minister to the vilest of abuses, they hit another low, the nadir of slugfest, so to speak. And I think this is some entitled mentality. And when Ratnakar ji says that has nothing to do with Rahul Gandhi or Tejasvi, let me remind him that Rizvi, the fellow who used these disgusting words, expletives that cannot be repeated on any channel whatsoever, is very much part of the Congress party. The function was organized by one Mr. Naushad, who was a youth Congress leader, and he has been a Congress leader for the last 16 years by his own admission. So let me finish, Ratnakar ji. This was said, a mic was given to him, this was used at a political rally. Now, Prime Minister's mother
audio
has
is
nothing
not
to
clear,
do with politics. She's a late mother. It is so... Yeah, can you hear me? Late mother. So, Prime Minister's mother is not alive. She had nothing to do with politics. And how many times has this been used? And I think it's a matter of great shame. And when you, extrapolate and talk about biological and all that, you're justifying, you're mocking the issue. You're not being serious. I think the Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi should have realized the mistake and apologized. This is unpardonable. No, you're mocking. You're mocking. नहीं आप क्यों नहीं तो आप नहीं तो उससे गाली गलौज से क्या मकसद है इसका गाली गलौज से क्या मतलब है
नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने अपनी मां के बात
Ratnakar Tripathi Shazia 1 minute Shazia give me a moment. I need to tell Mr. Ratnakar Tripathi something quite firmly. Mr. Tripathi, listen to me. You are facing me and you need to answer a few questions here clearly. You people are liars of the highest order. You have spread this fake news and everybody knows it. But unless you people believe that if you lie 1,000 times, it will become the truth, and your leader believes in the same thing. Now, the Prime Minister has never said he is not biologically born. This is the biggest lie. Shubhrashtra is there with us. Jyotsna is there. I'll bring the others in. I'll get in Tausif and Harish also. The Prime Minister never said that. What did the Prime Minister say? And listen, I'll tell you, don't interrupt me. I'm saying something. Ratnakar, listen to me. And after I finish, you can respond. After I finish, only then will you respond. Can those graphics be taken out? Because I'm making a larger point. Thank you so much. Now the limited point I'm making. Ratnakar Tripathi, you'll have to be quiet now. Please. You know, the Prime Minister said that
you can go on.
I believe... Yeah, just remain quiet for a moment. 4 people on the windows. I'll have to specify Subrashta and Jyotsna on the left and Tausif and Harish on the right. Now I am, Ratnakar ji, please be quiet. I'm anchoring from a place where there's a delay anyway. You don't need to keep speaking over me. It's not going to help here. Viewers, there have been such lies about the Prime Minister. What did the Prime Minister say? I have Subrashta here with me. She can explain. The Prime Minister at one point of time had said that I believe God has given me a purpose in life. God has given me energy. God has given me abilities. God has made me an instrument to serve the country. This is what the Prime Minister said. Any person with a brain would have come to the conclusion that what the Prime Minister is saying is that my entire life, my purpose, my energy, my reason to live is to be an instrument of God in the service of the nation. You have to be demented. Let me use the word demented. You have to be demented to turn this around and say, the Prime Minister is saying he was not biologically born. But you don't have to be demented. You have to be very malicious. You have to be very personal. You have to have a very crude and dirty mind. The mind of a dirty troll to turn around a pure statement such as my energy has been given to me by God to serve the country as an instrument, to turn that around and say I believe I was not biologically born. And then you turn this around into a meme fest. And now you go down to the extent of abusing the Prime Minister's mother. I'm saying, viewers, enough is enough. Tausif, you cross the line, there will be a billion Indians standing against you. There already are. Yes, Tausif.
Billion people stand against you as well and against Mr. Modi as well. You are forgetting, perhaps because the interview was not
you want me to open the lines to understand who the people of the country are with, you or me?
Mr. Modi himself claimed that he was non-biological. Who are we to ascribe this non-biological?
I think you are mad. Either you don't understand the language he was speaking in,
his own claim,
or you are crazy. You are crazy in some form. If a person says...
Secondly, if Prime Minister's mother should be respected, then Rahul Gandhi...
I'll come to you, Subrashta and Jyotsna. Just give me a moment.
Rahul Gandhi's mother. The Prime Minister abused Rahul Gandhi's mother, calling him Jersey guy, calling her Jersey guy, and calling her Congress ki vidwa.
I'm not hearing
Does Prime Minister have license to abuse Rahul Gandhi's mother? What nonsense is this? Hypocrisy, is it not hypocrisy?
Just louder, please. I can't hear loudly in the studio. Both sides.
To mother of Rahul Gandhi. Sonia Gandhi is also the mother of Rahul Gandhi.
This is preposterous. The way Tausif is going on and
there is now you see viewers, there is a justification. Subrashta, before you come in, I wish to place on record that Tausif is justifying the abuse of the Prime Minister's late mother. That's what Tausif has come down to. Yeah. Don't be an intellectual termite, Tausif. Or worse.
Subrashta. His mother has to be respected then. This is what political discourse has actually stooped down to. Let me tell you one thing, Tausif. Rahul Gandhi's mother is in public life. If Rahul Gandhi's mother feels insulted,
she should be abused.
She should come in front of the people of this country.
Mr. Modi has a license to abuse
a political attack on the Prime Minister. She is well within her rights, well within her democratic rights to do so. She is not a private individual like Prime Minister Modi's. By the way, she is also deceased. Somebody with basic briefing on Indian culture would know what kind of line has been breached in Darbhanga when Prime Minister's mother was invoked in such a sleazy and such a stupid manner. And on top of it, none of the opposition leaders, neither the Indie bloc has come and said we unequivocally condemn it. We have to listen to stupid arguments like, oh, well, we were not responsible. Maybe BJP people themselves barged in the rally and did so. Are you nuts? Are you out of your mind? Do you have any idea what are you talking? Basically, what you are saying is that some Bihari...
Subhrashta, you being a woman, you being a woman, you
Some
should take
Bihari who
sides
has
with
the
Rahul
DNA of
Gandhi
Sita
as well.
has alighted
Rahul
the
Gandhi's
stage,
mother also
has
should not
alighted
be
the stage
insulted.
to abuse Prime
Why
Minister
did you
Modi's
protest?
mother.
Why did you
This
protest
is
when
not
Mr.
just
Modi was
preposterous.
abusing Sonia
This is
Gandhi?
not opposition,
Why did
Arnab.
you protest
This
when
is
Mr.
moral
Modi was
bankruptcy.
abusing the
Today, if
deceased
Lord
wife
Krishna were to be
of
born, these
Sati
people
Tharoor?
would have abused Lord Krishna as well. Because Lord Krishna had two mothers and two fathers. Such is the state of opposition in this country. They do not have basic decency left in them. I agree with the opposition when they say 50 crore girlfriend should not have been launched. I agree with the opposition when they say that the verbal diarrhea on,
Verbal diarrhea of Mr. Modi, Jersey guy, 50 crore ki girlfriend. Who said all this?
That hybrid individual,
Congress ki
and
vidwa.
that
Who
50
said
crore
all
ki
this?
girlfriend, all of these
It was
people
told by
are
the
pretty
Mr.
much
Modi
aligned
himself. What
in
is this
Indian
drama he is
politics.
doing?
If they cannot handle the heat, they should get
Mr.
out of the
Modi
kitchen.
calls the
Subhrashta louder with Harish on the
Sonia
right.
Gandhi. Jersey
Subhrashta louder with Harish,
have any objection.
Ratnakar on the right.
All these
Subhrashta
people
louder.
are trying to play the sycophants game. Did you see them launch an India-wide campaign pro Sonia Gandhi, saying she's she's completely Indian? All these Ratnakar Tripathis of the world and
Ratnakar on
Tauseef
the
Khans
right.
of the world talking. Just because India believes in Mr.
Can you
Modi,
have
we are
Ratnakar
not
on the
going to
right?
take that insult lying low. As a Bihari, I'm not going to take that insult lying low. You are comfortable with Sonia Gandhi being abused, which is why you did not launch a nationwide campaign. This is not the problem of BJP supporters. This is not the problem of Prime Minister Modi's image. This is a problem that Rahul Gandhi should think about. Why did the country not rally when Rahul Gandhi's mother was abused? That's a problem for you to ponder. I did not want to go down this route, Arnab. I began by saying that that terms that for you should not have been used. But if you were to argue the way you are arguing, this is how you are going to be hit back politically. And let me tell you, Arnab, Bihar, unlike other parts of India,
I'll tell you one thing about the Congress party and Sonia Gandhi. Subhrashta, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, you see, the frightful fact, Subhrashta, the frightful fact is this, Ratnakar, just the frightful fact is, this family, this Vadra Gandhi family believes that they have a divine right to abuse and look down on everyone. They look down on every single Indian. And they get very touchy if somebody says, Jyotsna, why did Sonia Gandhi wait for 14 to 15 years after her marriage to becoming an Indian citizen? They'll say, oh, it's a personal attack on Sonia Gandhi. It's not. Why did Sonia Gandhi decide for almost more than a decade after being married to the son of the Prime Minister that I will remain an Italian citizen for the longest possible time? They'll say, you're attacking her personally. No, I want to know why she opted for a decade and a half or around that period to remain an Italian citizen. If somebody were to say, Jyotsna, that Antonia Di Maino is her original Italian name, Antonia Di Maino, which has now been made into Sonia Gandhi, then they'll say, why are you abusing? I'm not abusing.
You will abuse her.
Antonia Di Maino is her Italian name. She is Italian born. Her mother and father are Italian. She chose to remain Italian for over a decade after marrying the Prime Minister of India's son. These are realities. These are realities. These are not views. These are facts. It hurts you. It hurts you. Does it?
Yes.
When somebody's... It hurts you. Which one of these facts is factually not true? Jyotsna.
Arnabji, let me put it very clearly. One thing is, this debate that we are having today is not about Prime Minister Modi or Prime Minister Modi's mother. It's about the respect we carry for mothers across India, the culture. I'm talking about the values we uphold as a nation. As Bharat, what we uphold as a nation. I'm a mother. I have two other mothers on this debate panel here. We are pained. Literally, we are pained by the level of abuses that are, day in and day out that are hurled at mothers. Why? Why isn't a backstep being taken on that? Why are we normalizing abusing mothers? I'll give you a small example here, Arnabji. In the state of Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, who ruled the state from 2019 to 24, we had his men, the MLAs elected from his own party, literally abuse, mother of Sri Nara Lokesh Garu, Bhuvaneshwari Garu, who is not even in politics They have abused her in the house, in the assembly. Nobody from that party spoke. Nobody from even Congress spoke that day. And now they talk about different things. हमारे सोनिया गांधी जी को बोला, किसी को भी बोलने दो, सोनिया गांधी जी को बोलने दो, या फिर मोदी जी के मदर को बोलने दो, या फिर मुझे बोलने दो. That is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. And Arnab ji, I'll tell you one more thing. The gutter that is actually coming in politics is really dangerous. Today, when these guys are spreading abuses, when these people are literally hurling abuses at the mothers in our Bharat, PM Modi, NDA Sarkar has launched a 105 crore Jivika Nidhi for women SHGs. The same day, they are hurling abuses at women, on mothers, and we are respecting. That is Nari Saman, sir. That is Nari Saman. Not hurling abuses at women, making women empowered, making women stand on their own feet, giving them the respect that they deserve, especially to mothers of this, in this nation. Where are we heading, Arnab? I'm really pained. I don't know what to talk. Even the code of conduct says it. Politicians' policies can be criticized, but private life cannot be touched. These leaders have crossed that Lakshman Rekha. Very bad. In fact, Mahua ji, I was really pained again. The Twitter handle of Mahua ji, the level of comments that she is making. She forgot that there is a very thin line between political jibes and abusing the late mother from a rally stage. And now, I say somebody else said, Ratnakar ji said, अरे हमने नहीं किया, किसी और ने किया. Sir, कम से कम उसको condemn तो कर दो. Condemn तो कर दो, sir. राहुल गांधी जी को इतना तो भी रहना चाहिए कि condemn कर दे उसको. क्योंकि उनके रैली में हुआ है. चाहे वो कांग्रेस वाला हो, ना हो, वो दूसरी बात है. मगर somebody on that rally has spoken bad about a mother. Forget about it that it is the mother of Modi ji. Forget about it. But it's a mother. A mother. एक माँ को उन लोगों ने आज अपमान किया है. आप लोगों के मुंह से एक शब्द भी नहीं निकल रहा कि ये गलत है. किसी ने भी किया, उसको कड़ी सजा मिलनी चाहिए. ये लफ्ज आपके मुंह से नहीं आ रहा, सर. आपके मुंह से नहीं आ रहा. वही उस चीज को लेके we are very pained. Yes, whoever is saying it. कोई भी बोलने दो, किसी किस्म के भी एक abuse एक मदर के ऊपर आ रहा है, तो we have to talk about it, sir. We are not, that's the reason people think politics is dirty. That's the reason youngsters don't want to come into politics, because literally you're hurling abuses at women, you're hurling abuses at mothers, you're hurling abuses at whoever is talking bad about.
So I'll give, one thing which is clear, Harish, is that Rahul Gandhi is a bitter kind of fellow, and Shazia is on the debate with you. Rahul Gandhi is a bitter person.
I wanted everyone clearly. Let me come straight to the point. Okay.
He says he's...
To the point.
Just 1 minute. Harish and Shazia only on the screen, please. No, you see, during an election rally in 2024, he said that this Narendra Modi, after 6 months, he will not be able to come out on the road. People will be beating him up with sticks. So what is the personality that comes out, Harish and Shazia only, when a comment like that has been made?
Arnab, if abuse of women
and inciting people to physically attack the Prime Minister. What comes across is a very bitter man, And today, my argument is, Harish, that Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi have actually endorsed the abuse of the Prime Minister's mother by remaining silent. And this is the only issue on which people are voting and calling tonight. I'll open the lines in 2 minutes. Harish and Shazia versus.
Arnab, I heard it loud and clear. If abuse is an art, abuse of women is an art, then the BJP and the Sanghs are Picasso of it. Okay? And even Mr. Prime Minister himself have heckled on a stage calling Didi, oh Didi. Does Mamata Banerjee is not a woman or a mother for him? And BJP, no one is advocating any kind of abuse on anyone on public domain. But having said that, whether the BJP...
How is Didi or Didi an abuse? How is Didi or Didi an abuse? Sister or sister? How is that an abuse? How is that an abuse? No, explain that to me. How is it an abuse?
Let me, okay.
Shazia.
Heckling or doing the roadside Romeo thing. Shashya.
Harish bhai,
It's not an abuse.
You know, how is calling Didi or Didi an abuse?
Oh.
No, it's not. Didi means sister. Do you know what Didi means? I don't know which part of India you come from. But Didi means sister.
Shashya, sister.
Didi means
This is
sister.
called
Don't you know
sister-brother
that?
relationship.
It's basic.
Oh, Shashya.
It's basic.
Shashya.
And let me tell you, you do not abuse anybody's mother. Do not scream at me. Do not scream at me. You should apologize. You should. No, you are heckling. You are heckling. You are just lying through your teeth. Nobody will believe you. You have zero credibility when you say Didi is an abuse. Which part of India do you come from? Didi is not an abuse.
When PM Modi himself can do
What do you mean PM Modi does it all? Is Prime Minister's mother, does she have anything to do with politics? Prime Minister's mother is deceased. And you insult every woman, you insult all the mothers, you're insulting all those women who work hard for a living. And you know something? Prime Minister's tears will cost you dearly. I know one thing, Arnab, let me speak. Prime Minister's tears, let me speak, sir, don't. Bhai Sahab, please. Let me speak. No, don't keep saying Shazia. Bhai Sahab, मैं आपको बताऊं एक चीज. Prime Minister के जो आंसू थे ना, Prime Minister's tears will cost dearly. You're speaking over me throughout. You're speaking over me. You have no point to make, sir.
You people are speaking about hypocrisy. You people are a hypocrite.
Are you done?
Best example.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done?
No, you are already finished.
Are you done?
Let me complete.
Done?
No, you are taking my time.
Done, okay.
Shashya,
No, be quiet, sir.
This is not same as
This man is constantly speaking. You're constantly heckling, my dear friend. You're heckling. You have nothing to say. No, I'm not preaching. I'm not preaching. I'm stating it. I'm announcing, I'm stating, I'm declaring. I'm declaring. And you know what I'm declaring? You know what I'm declaring? That every mother in Bihar and India will show you and pay. You will pay through the. You see what happens at the ballot. You see at the hustings what will happen to you. And let me tell you one thing. Every mother, every sister, every man will avenge this. Because Prime Minister's tears will not be wasted. They were not in vain. They will cost you dearly, Prime Minister's tears. The barrage of lies. Barrage of lies.
Shall we open the lines for a minute? Let's decide which side people of the country are thinking. Let's decide what the people of the country are thinking. Let's put the full screen. I'm not getting a full screen output here where I can see the grid and the number on the screen, etc. I wish to make a point tonight before I bring Ratnakar Tripathi, and I'm about to open up the phone lines. What is happening here? The fact is that you have a very bitter Rahul Gandhi, very bitter kind of fellow, you know, a person who calls the Prime Minister Panoti.
Frustrated.
And believes that because he's the son of a Prime Minister, the grandson of a Prime Minister and the great-grandson of a Prime Minister. Spent his early childhood having holidays on aircraft carriers. The fact is today this family is totally frustrated. There is no hope in hell, Ratnakar Tripathi, that the Vadra Gandhi people will ever be Prime Minister of this country. And therefore they have decided to, you have to have the courage to listen to what I am saying. Don't have to prove your loyalty to the family so much. Ratnakar Tripathi, listen to me. The fact of the matter is, you are abusing the mother of a non-dynast. You are abusing her because she gave birth to a non-dynast who has been Prime Minister of India for 3 terms. You are abusing the mother of a person who is the first Prime Minister outside the Nehru-Vadra Gandhi family to complete 10 years in office and get a 3 terms as Prime Minister. You cannot accept the fact that this lady gave birth, that the Prime Minister's mother gave birth to a man who reduced the Congress to 44 seats. So you are abusing his mother. You are abusing the mother of a man who reduced the Congress party to non-existence. You are abusing the mother of a man who made Rahul Gandhi fail in 2014, 2019 and 2024. You are abusing the mother of a man who ended family-driven politics in our country. That's why you're abusing. Why are you abusing Narendra Modi's mother? For these reasons. Ratnakar Tripathi and Jyotsna.
Share are non-existent. I just pity you, nothing else. You can go on with that.
Forget your 20% of the democratic share, man. You are lost. You are the losers.
20% of the democratic
Arnab
share.
ji, I have a question.
You are
Arnab ji,
abusing the mother of a person who changed the direction of Indian politics.
Let Modi ji exist.
Arnab ji, I have
Jyotsna.
a question.
Jyotsna,
Sir, I
on
have
the
a question.
clash.
I have a question to all the three male panelists in this debate.
Please.
All the three male panelists. Are they normalizing abusing women? I have a straight question to them. Are they normalizing abusing women, abusing mothers?
External feed.
Sir, will you condemn these words of some idiot out there who has spoken about a mother? Will you condemn or not? If you are condemning, why isn't some...
Jyotsna ji, I condemn these words. I condemn Narendra Modi's 2004 Bharat Uday Yatra's word कि सोनिया गांधी जर्सी काऊ है. I condemn hybrid बछड़ा word. I condemn जो उन्होंने नीतीश कुमार को बोला इनका डीएनए गड़बड़ है. डीएनए कहां से आता है ज्योत्सना जी? थोड़ा साइंस तो जानती होंगी ना. डीएनए कहां से आता है? नीतीश कुमार का डीएनए गड़बड़ है, उनकी मां गड़बड़ है. वो ठीक था, वो ठीक था. अरे छोड़िए, आप जैसे लोग जो किसी एक आदमी को बेबात का फेवर करते हैं, यू आर नॉट इम्पार्शियल. आई सेड इट. मैं इस बात की निंदा करता हूं कि वो गाली दी गई.
सुब्राष्ट्र
बताइए ना, डीएनए कहां से आता है? जो कहां से आता है?
Subrashta, faster. Subrashta.
Public life, he or she can be subjected to abuse.
रत्नाकर त्रिपाठी जी,
That is your philosophy. कि अगर मैं पब्लिक लाइफ में हूं तो आप मुझे गाली दे सकती हैं. और
नहीं
अगर
नहीं
पब्लिक लाइफ में
रत्नाकर जी, नहीं, मैंने ऐसा नहीं कहा. सुनिए, बात सुनने का धैर्य रखिए.
सोनिया गांधी को गाली दी
क्या
गई.
कहा, मैं फिर से रिपीट कर देती हूँ. अंग्रेजी में कहा था, हिंदी में कह देती हूँ.
अंग्रेजी हिंदी छोड़िए,
गांधी सुनिए, सुन तो लीजिए. अब सोनिया गांधी का नाम सुनते ही मत बोलने लगे. सुन लीजिए.
You are mentally bankrupt.
आप आज गाली के मर्म तक जाना चाहते हैं ना, तो आज मर्म तक चलते हैं. सोनिया गांधी को जर्सी गाय कहा गया, राहुल गांधी को हाइब्रिड कहा
जो भी पब्लिक लाइफ में उसको गाली दीजिए.
नहीं कहा जाना चाहिए था. मैं मानती हूं
कि गाली दीजिए पब्लिक लाइफ में.
यहाँ से शुरू करते हैं कि नहीं कहा जाना चाहिए था, लेकिन चूंकि आज आप गालियों की मीमांसा कर रहे हैं तो करते हैं.
मत समझाइए मीमांसा.
मैंने गांधी को जर्सी गाय जब कहा गया,
झूठ बोला. उन्होंने कहा जब तक मेरी माता जी
भारतीय न होने पे सवाल
बायोलॉजिकली पैदा हुआ हूं.
इसका मतलब यह भी
रही तो मुझे लगा नहीं
गांधी की भारत के साथ इतना अगाध संबंध रहता तो कार्यकर्ता तो छोड़िए कांग्रेस पार्टी के, देश का बच्चा सड़क पर होता लड़ने के लिए. क्या किसी ने आपने देखा कि कांग्रेस पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता भी डिबेट करवा रहे हो या कर रहे हो? आपने नहीं देखा हो. तो एक सेकेंड सुन लीजिए बात. लगातार बोल रहे हैं क्योंकि आप जानते हैं जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ, जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ उस बात नहीं, जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ उसमें तत्व है, इसीलिए आप नहीं बोल रहे. मैं फिर से कह रही हूँ, ये शब्द नहीं बोले जाने चाहिए थे, बोले गए
तो
बात की बात कर रही हूँ. और इसकी सजा 10 साल के बाद राहुल गांधी को याद आएगा कि इसकी सजा मुझे नरेंद्र मोदी की दिवंगत मां को
पैरेलल खोजना है, तो आप कंडेम कर रही हैं.
कहां का न्याय है ये?
डिबेट पर रहा हूं, किसी
तो
डिबेट में आपने नहीं कहा
जी. अगर आज भगवान श्री कृष्ण
आपने नहीं कहा,
तो आप लोगों ने कृष्ण की भी मर्यादा को तार तार किया होता. आपने देवकी और यशोदा की कोख को भी, देवकी और यशोदा दोनों के कोख को आपने गाली दी होती. ये चरित्र हो गया है आज कांग्रेस पार्टी का. ये राजद पे तो जितना कम कहा जाए वो
एक मिनट. Rajan is calling from Bangalore. Rajan is calling from Bangalore. Viewers, the fact is that when last week I believe that if I understand the psychology of Rahul Gandhi, he has a deep personal dislike. The whole family, Rahul, Priyanka, mother Sonia, have a deep personal dislike for the Prime Minister. They genuinely feel that it is because of the Prime Minister that they have been forced to virtually exit all positions of power in India.
It's disgust seeing an OBC leader, and let me also tell you, the breed of leaders which are there on stage at Bihar, they are all OBC leaders. And Modi as an OBC leader, Modi ji as an OBC leader has ensured that
very good.
This is also a political mistake that the opposition has done in
Yadav is
Bihar.
also an
What
OBC
they
leader.
don't realize is, hold on, Ratnakar ji,